Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everyone, for making the time to come here today. Thank you very much to the DX5 team and all the sponsors for actually bringing us together. I don't know about you guys, but I've really missed actually seeing people face to face. I've been going crazy with all these WebExes, only seeing computer screens. So being able to see you guys, to hear the experts talking, it's really refreshing. I promise, I'm not just in it for the free food. And on that note, I know that I'm the barrier between you guys and lunch, so I'll try and be as quick as possible. Like we've said, my name is Ben Omondi Bottlelberge, and I manage the data, analytics, and artificial intelligence for IBM. And I'm actually here to just tell you about how you can monetize your data. That's one of the themes we've heard a lot about today, monetize your data. And of course, how can you scale the AI ladder and be an AI company? Just on that note here, it's written Ben Bottlelberge. I introduced myself as Ben Omondi Bottlelberge. It's actually quite interesting. People speak to me differently depending on the name. When they hear Ben Bottlelberge, it's, hello, sir. When they hear Ben Omondi, kumbe weni moja wetu. So feel free to do either. But on that note, so IBM, we've actually been in Kenya since 1981. And most people, when I speak to them, they just know IBM as that hardware company, those guys for servers. But we've actually constantly been reinventing ourselves, and now we're a hybrid cloud, data, and AI company. So just breaking that down, some of the themes we've heard, hybrid cloud. That means we maximize use of your existing systems, whatever on-premise infrastructure you have and you've invested in, and we help you scale through the cloud. The data, as we know, past 20 years, data has been the natural resource which everyone is utilizing. And of course, the AI. I think people are tired of working for the systems. We want the systems to work for us. So that's where the AI comes in. And what I have here is specifically on our software side. Like I said, hybrid software. It can run on your cloud, it can run on-premise. Starting at the top, we have a branch that deals with automation and integration. On the right, we have the secure. This is all about security. There's been a lot of talk about the CISOs, a lot of talk about cybersecurity. So that's the branch that deals with that. On my end, of course, it's the far left, predict. How can you predict? You have to have data. You analyze that data, you get your results. And then right at the bottom is modernizing. We're helping people modernize their infrastructure. And yesterday it was mentioned by one of the presenters around Kubernetes. How are we helping companies through containerization? We're past the days of rip and replacing things. And as a result of us buying Red Hat for OpenShift, we're now the leaders in the industry when it comes to the containerization. As you can see, at the heart of everything is the AI for business. So on that note, I'll be selfish and just talk about my data part. The same way human behavior has adapted and evolved over the years is the same way technology has also evolved. Starting with the Moore's Law era, it was all about how much data can we produce. That's when there was the explosion of data. The next era was more about networking and connectivity. I think the best way to describe this is, you know, you can be speaking to your friends on Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever, saying, hey, boss has been riding me hard. I need to go on holiday. I need to go to Mombasa. Next time you log into Facebook, you're just scrolling through your timeline. All of a sudden, get the deal of your life. Fantastic trip to Mombasa. Best deals around. That's that connectivity, trying to get that information. And that's led to where we are now in the knowledge era. The knowledge era, there's been all this data that's been produced, but we're only utilizing this much data. That's what leaves the knowledge gap. An analogy I like to use here, it's like being stranded in the middle of the ocean. You're surrounded by all this water, but there's nothing you can drink. That's where we are with data. You have all this data, structured, unstructured, whatever, but are you utilizing it all? How well can you actually maximize on it? And depending on how the companies use this, depending on how you apply this in your business, it dictates the value you can get out. So of course, the more you utilize your data, the more you become AI-driven, the more value you get out. So starting on the left, cost reduction. A bank will have a look at 10 of their branches, which is the least profitable. Okay, we close that branch down. Fantastic. The data has helped you, you've reduced cost. Around 65% of companies are at that point where You're looking at business intelligence and data warehousing. Some people have self-service analytics. So the difference is there's those people who they get the data and they interrogate it. There's the other people who, in the morning when you open your screen, you see the red arrows pointing down, green arrows pointing up, then you decide how to act from that. But then, really where you get that explosion is through the AI, enabling business transformation. We've heard about a taxi company who can actually help their employees get savings. You've heard about M-Pesa, which has grown from simply M-Pesa in Kenya to M-Pesa Africa. How many people have copied their fantastic business model? So really, guys, that's the differentiator which we need to have, and that's why we're all here. You can see the statistics on the far right, which I won't repeat, because we see the value that companies are starting to find here. On that note, remember that analogy about the ocean. Companies have 73% of the data is unused. What's it doing? You're spending your money on these expensive storage, but you're not actually mining that data. You're not getting the insights you need out of it. So that's what we want to change, because the companies that are data-driven and AI-powered are the ones who are most successful. I won't read through all these statistics, but I think one of the most significant is on the top right. Companies that are data-driven are 178% more likely to outperform their competitors. So think about that. COVID, how many businesses have suffered? How many businesses have had to shut down? If you just had that edge, they could still be in it. And another one right in the middle, they're 112% more likely to find unmet needs. End of the day, the reason we're here is because of our customers. So let's help tap into what their requirements are. And I'm not sure if any of you have seen my bio, but part of what I put in there, and we can even see with the change, it's not just CIO Africa, it's now DX5, digital transformation. Because IT isn't that sinkhole where you just give them funds, give IT the money, they buy those servers, they'll be quiet till next year. No. People are starting to see that IT is an enabler. IT provides business value. So just right at the top there, customer care. These days, because of our phones, because of all the innovation, we have very learned end customers who aren't loyal. You don't give me the services I want, I'll get them from someone else. So if I have to call a call center, whether you're my telco, whether you're my bank, and then I'm waiting to be 10th in line, 9th in line, 8th in line for 10 minutes, finally I get connected to someone. Once I've explained to them my problem for 5 minutes, sorry, let me connect you to my expert. I'm tired, I'm not gonna waste my time with that. So why not have a virtual assistant, a chatbot, which is on steroids. The steroids are the artificial intelligence, which can actually address all these things, help improve your customer satisfaction. We've had customers having a 15% improvement in Net Promoter Score. On top of that, also think of yourself. If you're working at that call center, you get 100 phone calls in the day, and 40 of them are people asking you, where's the closest ATM? You really think you can add more value. You want to be dealing with the people who are asking you, I'm getting married in September, I want to have a family for my house by October, what will the mortgage look like? Now, I feel like I'm really affecting people's lives. I'm not just a Google map saying there's the closest ATM. So I think that's really the value which you can start to see with some of these tools. Some of the team here yesterday, Kevin, Muni, the two Carolines, even the people who presented today, have spoken about the importance of regulation. What's the cost of compliance? Yeah, it might be expensive to get the tools, but the punishment, the fine, that's what will sink you. So really having the right tools, mitigate that risk, get the right fraud management technology in place, the right operational risk technology in place. And another one, democratizing data. We have all this data, but you still have companies, we're all guilty, running around saying, have you updated the new Excel table? Which version are you working with? Okay, give boss the report. Let's have these in the system. Let's have these automated. We don't want to work for the systems, do we? Let the systems work for us. So that being said, like I said on the data side, there's no AI without IA. There's no artificial intelligence without the required information architecture. Garbage in, garbage out. How well are the structures? And on that note, that's one of the main challenges people have. Again, in the morning, someone was saying, I don't have the statistics to back it, so here are some statistics. where around 58% of customers complain that the data quality is the main problem they face. And only around 39% of businesses actually see their data as an asset. Think about it. How well do you know your customer? How well do you know their spending patterns? This person who's been complaining about Mombasa, how soon are you going to reach out to them before Bonfire, before all these other travel agencies reach out? So we really need to understand the importance of that data. And like I said at the start, scaling the AI ladder, what does that mean? It's how a company can take deliberate steps to be AI-driven. I'll start to the bottom. The collect. How are you getting the data from all these different sources? Fantastic. Once you have this data, how well is it organized? Is it Ben Omondi Bottlelberge, Ben Omondi? When you look at that in the system, are those 3 customers or is that 1 customer? How well are you organized there? How well are you analyzing this data now? And of course, once you trust the analysis you get out, it leads to infusing the AI, meaning you're making the system work for you. To put this in a bit more of a practical context, let's look at a bank. So a bank decides they want to serve their customers better. They collect their data. They have all this data from people, well and good. Now let's analyze that data. You decide I want to analyze the demographic, people between 20 and 30. What do they want in an account? Okay, as you analyze this data, you see that, okay, most of these people in the demographic, they either want a credit or an overdraft system, where even though you have 0 shillings in your account, an M-Shwari practically, you have 0 shillings in your account, but you can still have access to money. That's one, some of them want that, others want a car loan. Okay, fine. Let's analyze it. We need to understand why. Turns out, majority of the people between 20 and 25 are the ones who want this credit system. Why is that? Because they're in university. Or maybe they're very early professionals and they don't have very regular income. Sometimes they get their money on the 28th, sometimes they get it on the 5th. Either way, the landlord is knocking on the door on the 1st, that you need to pay that rent. So, okay, now you understand why 20 to 25 need it. Someone in that demographic tries to open an account, show them that offer. Now you see, they understand. While those between 26 and 30, they tend to be the ones who can now afford getting a car loan because they have more regular income. So fantastic. Ben is 29. I apply to this bank. They will already know, offer him a car loan. I can't tell you how many times I've got a message that's asking me, Ben, start saving for university. Or, Ben, are you ready for your retirement plan? Those are complete ends of the spectrum. Who are you talking to? Who is this Ben? So, and then now once you start trusting these systems, as soon as Ben, who's 23, applies to your bank, you can already hit him with a credit. They understand me. Ben, 28, car loan. They understand me. So that's when we start infusing. We start actually trusting the system. But of course, we all watch movies. We've heard of Terminator. We've heard of Matrix, how AI is going to take over. So of course, there is some crisis in trust around AI. Around 68% of people say if they're applying for a bank loan, they'd rather a human tell them that they can't get it than a system to generate it. On the other hand, 60% of companies find that regulation is the barrier. So again, regulation, we keep hearing that term. So how can we actually trust AI? And here are some of the principles we use. Number 1, explainability. If that system tells you why you can't get this loan, why is it? The system has to be able to explain it. Fairness. Over time, as these systems are in place, they start to skew, they start to get a bias. So you constantly have to realign that ship. Robustness as well. How safe is it? How strong is this foundation which we're relying on all this AI? Transparency. If someone comes to audit you, how sure are you that it hasn't been tampered with? And finally, privacy. It's funny that these go right after each other, transparency, then privacy. But the transparency is key, but as much as I want to be able to audit you, I want to make sure no one knows who is Ben. I'm just a serial number in the system. But when I speak to my relationship manager, you know exactly who Ben is. So overall, yesterday when I did this, I took around 25 minutes. Now I think I'm within the time. But thank you everyone for listening to me. Ultimately, I'm here to discuss with you how we can maximize your data. How can you be an AI company? They say that a rising tide raises all ships. We're the ships here, guys. Whether it's us as individuals who are passionate about technology, whether it's as our different companies, we are the ships. And the tide is technology, guys. Let's make this work. So thank you, everyone, for your time. Feel free to take my number, take my email, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to discuss this with you. Now I think it's lunchtime. Yeah.